Today is 7th of October 2025. The day before yesterday, I told a story about Losakatissa to reveal how the mind is creation of karma and its results are beyond the imagination of ordinary people, and how even small unwholesome thought, if not checked, can grow into harmful deeds. As you know, I told that story to illustrate the definition and explanation of the mind's bizarreness and strangeness. So let's continue it. Through deep meditation, when one attains jhana, absorption, it becomes possible to develop extraordinary abilities known as the special knowledges or supernatural powers. These are not magical fantasies, but meditative attainments described in the suttas. One of the most astonishing among them is the Iddhi Vida Abhinya, the power of supernatural manifestations. A meditator with this power can multiply their body, become invisible, walk through walls, travel through space, or appear in different places instantly. These abilities are said to arise when the mind becomes extremely refined, collected, and powerful through mastery of jhana. The another is the Parachitta Vijanana Abhinya, the ability to read the minds of others. With this, one can know whether another being's mind is filled with greed, hatred, delusion, or free from them. This insight goes beyond more guesswork. It's a direct and precise knowing of another's mental state. It highlights the incredible sensitivity and sharpness the mind can develop. These supernatural powers are nothing more than creation of the mind. These powers demonstrate the unimaginable potential of the mind when it is purified when it is concentrated and deeply trained. What begins as a simple awareness of breath or body in meditation can lead through sustained effort and mindfulness to states that reveal the vast and profound reality hidden from ordinary perceptions. All of this show why chitta, the mind, is called strange, powerful, and astonishing. Its ability to create, perceive, and transform is beyond imagination. The mind can become extremely degraded and dangerous if left uncultivated, but if properly trained and cultivated, it can become pure, peaceful, and even enlightened. You may have heard the story of Angulimala. Angulimala, whose name means a person with garland of fingers, a name he earned because he wore a necklace made from the fingers of people he had killed. Blinded by delusion and manipulated by others, he became a fearsome murderer, having taken the lives of many innocent people. At one point, he was even about to kill his own mother in order to complete a count of 1,000 fingers. But just at that crucial moment, the Buddha appeared, placing himself between Angulimala and his intended victim. Angulimala, still in a state of rage and confusion, chased after the Buddha to kill him, but no matter how fast he ran, he couldn't catch up. The Buddha, using his spiritual powers, remained calm and ahead. Eventually, exhausted and bewildered, Angulimala stopped and asked the Buddha why he wasn't stopping. The Buddha replied, "I have stopped, Angulimala. It is you who have not stopped." This simple but profound statement pierced his heart. Right there, he listened to the Dhamma, and his mind, which had once been so dark and violent, was transformed. He renounced, took ordination as a monk right there, and in due time attained arhatship, becoming a fully enlightened being. So this is what the mind can become extremely degraded and dangerous if left uncultivated, but if properly trained and cultivated, it can become pure, peaceful, and even enlightened. In the same way, just as a degraded mind can be uplifted and purified, even a highly cultivated and refined mind can suddenly fall into degradation if defilements are not fully uprooted, especially when mindfulness is lost. There is a story from one of the past lives of the Bodhisattva, the Buddha to be, which illustrates this clearly. In that life, the Bodhisattva was an ascetic who had already developed spiritual power, including spiritual supernatural abilities. Each day he would fly through the air to the palace of Benares to receive alms from the royal family. One day, the queen, knowing the ascetic would soon arrive, had been resting and was looking forward to making an offering. When she heard the sound of the ascetic approaching, she suddenly stood up in a hurry, and in that moment her garment slipped, revealing her body. The Bodhisattva entering through the window at that exact time caught an unintentional and improper sight. Even though he was a powerful ascetic, attachment arose in his mind due to that brief moment of unguarded perception. As a result of that defilement, he immediately lost his psychic powers. His once pure and refined mind became disturbed, showing how even a highly developed mind can fall if mindfulness and restraint are not maintained. So meditators who have already developed strong mindfulness often came to personally witness the bizarre nature of the mind. They directly experience the mind's constant transformation, how suddenly a wholesome state turns unwholesome, or an unwholesome state turns wholesome. How a courageous mind suddenly becomes lazy, how a diligent mind becomes heedless, how a concentrated mind becomes restless. The mind can change in no time at all. Sometimes meditators observe completely opposite mental states arising back to back. At one moment, there is a strong will to endure pain, and the next moment, a strong urge to escape. At one point, a determination to continue sitting arises, and the next moment, a desire to stop. There may be a strong motivation to do something, and then immediately hesitation or aversion toward the same action. This can be clearly seen in intention based thoughts, like wanting to open the eyes, not wanting to open the eyes, wanting to sit and not wanting to sit, wanting to take a step and not wanting to take a step, wanting to drink and not wanting to drink, and so on. So these conflicting mental states arise rapidly, showing the unstable and changing nature of the mind. At times, it even feels like the mind is having a debate within itself, as if two people are arguing inside, or as if one is talking to oneself in two different voices. One part urges to continue, the other resists. One part encourages patience, the other demands relief. It becomes even more curious when the mind behaves as if there is someone else inside, pushing you to act, to think, or to keep engaging in thoughts. But in reality, there is no one else, it's just the mind itself. It becomes especially interesting in situation like this. You clearly know, if I think about that, I will become sad. Yet, the mind thinks about it anyway, then sadness arises. Then the mind reacts, blaming itself. Oh, didn't I tell you not to think about that? What's fascinating is that all these roles are played by the mind, though it may fail if there have multiple people involved. Multiple people involved, but in fact, it is just the mind that knows is not wise to think about it, the mind that still chooses to think, the mind feels the sadness, the mind that blames itself afterward. A similar thing happens during sitting meditation. You may know clearly that indulging in daydreams, thoughts, or planning will weaken your mindfulness, and that when pain arises, your mind won't be ready to absorb it calmly. Yet, despite this knowledge, the mind keeps indulging. Sometimes another part of the mind chimes in saying, just a few seconds, or its wholesome thinking is okay. But then when pain starts to arise, the mind suddenly complains, I haven't been absorbing the primary object enough, or I'm not ready to face this pain. I shouldn't have allowed myself to drift off. Again, all these roles are played by the mind. Such experiences clearly reveal that the mind, not one solid entity, it is a stream of series of mental events, movements, and reactions constantly arising and passing away. Hence, it is called chitta according to the second definition. I have already mentioned the second definition is the mind is a natural state that streams or flows like current of water. Through mindfulness, meditators begin to see this fragmentation, this play of mental phenomena, and gain insight into non-self and the impermanent, impersonal nature of the mind. So, meditation is a process of getting to know your own body and especially your own mind. It is often compared to looking into a mirror. When you look in the mirror, you do so to see what's on your face, whether something looks good or bad, or whether your clothes are fitting properly and in good condition. And when you notice something wrong, maybe some dirt or a stain or something out of place, you immediately try to fix it because you want to look clean. You want to look clean and presentable. In the same way, through meditation, You observe the state of your mind. Through meditation, you come to truly know your own mind, how beautiful it is, or how dirty it is, or how dirty it has become, how strong or how weak it is, how mature or immature it is, how upgraded or degraded it is, how patient or impatient it is, how generous or stingy it is, how forgiving or vengeful it is, how wise or deluded it is, how collected or scattered it is, how stable or reactive it is. You begin to see these qualities not as concepts but as direct experiences. And just as you would clean your face when you see dirt in the mirror, you begin to purify your mind, not out of vanity, but out of a deep wish to be free from suffering and cultivate true inner beauty. That's why meditation is also known as a way of beautifying oneself. It is also known as a way of beautifying oneself without any cosmetic or makeup. It is a beautification that happens moment by moment, second by second, breathe by breathe, step by step. It is an inner cleansing that brings out a deep natural radiance, one that no external product can ever provide. In addition, the better you understand your own mind, the easier it becomes to master it. The better you understand your own mind, the easier it becomes to master it. Just like a lion tamer who know the nature of the lion, its habit, its triggers, its strength and weakness, can train and guide it with confidence. The one who truly understands the mind can gradually tame it, no matter wild or unruly it may seem at times. For example, when you know someone very well, like a close friend, you also know how to behave with her, what kind of conversation to have, and what to avoid, what makes her happy or sad, what might trigger her anger, what kind of words can comfort or console her, and what kind of speech might hurt or discourage her. Similarly, when you come to know your own mind deeply, you begin to understand how to relate to it wisely. You know what thoughts to entertain and which to drop, what condition support calm and clarity, and what situation tend to disturb or agitate it. You learn how to encourage the mind when it is weak, how to calm it when it is restless, and how to guide it gently, not forcefully, on the path of peace. So this inner understanding is also the key to prevent harmful states like anger, greed, or guilt. When you understand how anger arises, usually they form unmet expectation, ego, or pain. You begin to catch it early before it takes over. When you understand the nature of greed, how it feeds on discontent and restlessness, you can pause and reflect before chasing after what you don't really need. Again, when guilt arises, instead of sinking into self-blame, you learn to acknowledge the mistake, make amends if needed, and then gently bring the mind back to the present. So, through awareness and understanding, prevention becomes natural. You are no longer just reacting to the mind, you are wisely guarding it. So, to understand more about the mind, I would like to mention a few of its characteristics. And to explain this, I will refer to a verse from the text. I will not chant Pali. The verse says, "The mind travels afar, travels alone, is without a body, and dwells in a cave. Those who restrain the mind are freed from the bonds of Mara." This is what the verse says. I repeat, the mind travels far, travels alone, is without a body, and dwells in a cave. Those who restrain the mind are freed from the bonds of Mara. So, what does it mean to say that the mind travels far? One might assume that the mind physically moves from its original position to distant places. However, that is not the case. The mind does not move even slightly, even an inch. Instead, it means that the mind has the ability to take as its object things that are far away. You meditators are sitting right here in this meditation hall, yet your mind may take up distant objects, your homes or places you have been before, whether it is within the country or abroad. It can take any object from any corner of the world that you have been or heard or experienced. The mind is capable of taking. The mind is capable of taking as its object the moon, the sun, or any star in the sky you have seen or experienced. And not only objects from the human realm, if extraordinary capabilities are developed, the mind may even take as its object things from other realm of existence. What's more remarkable is that the mind takes same amount of time to reach or connect with any object, regardless of its distance. For example, suppose I ask you to think about the room you are staying in at this meditation center. Then I ask you to think of your room at home. Then to think of the farthest place or country you have ever been to. And finally, to think of the moon or the sun. So, which one takes the longest time to appear in the mind? The answer is none of them. The mind takes the same amount of time to access each object, whether near or far, small or vast, recent or long ago. It all arises instantly because the mind does not move through space or time the way the body does. It simply knows. Again, the mind's reach is not limited. The mind's reach is not limited to geographical distance. It also extends across time. It can take as its object any event or experience you have had, no matter how long ago it was, even memories from childhood or past lives. in some cases, so can arise as mental object. Let's say you suddenly remember a day from your childhood 20 years ago or in another country. Your body hasn't moved, your body hasn't moved, your brain hasn't gone back in times, but your mind has taken that distant memory as its object. So it seems as though your mind traveled far, but in reality it is simply operating from the same place, taking distant things, past events, far off people, even imagine worlds as its focus. And again, it's not just limited to this life. For those with developed insight or extraordinary mental abilities, the mind can take objects from previous life. So this is what is meant by the mind travels far. It doesn't travel through space or time in the physical sense. Rather, it reaches across any distance instantly by simply taking things as its object, whether it's something nearby or uh, far away, or in the past, or even from another realm. The mind can access of in a access it in a moment. So the this is what it means by the mind travels far. Now the second nature. What does it mean that the mind travels alone? It means the mind arises alone, one moment, one mind at a time. One moment, one mind at a time. Not two minds can arise simultaneously, even though thoughts may seem to come in a stream or overlap, but in reality they arise and pass away one by one, moment by moment, and at any given moment only one mind is present. At any given moment only one mind is present. The mind may take an object, feel an emotion, form an intention, or react to something, but it does so alone, not alongside another mind. Even when you are thinking about like many things, the mind like a switches rapidly between them. Although you are thinking about many things, the mind switches rapidly between them. It only appears as if multiple thoughts are happening at once, but in reality is a fact, succession of the single mind and moments. Especially for meditators, it may sometimes seem that multiple minds are arising at once, particularly as mindfulness and concentration deepen. The experience can feel very rich, layered, and fast moving. You may be aware of thoughts, sensation, intention, mental reaction, all in what feels like a single moment. But in reality, only one mind arises at a time. What you are experiencing is the increasing clarity. You are experiencing the increasing clarity and speed of awareness. You are beginning to perceive many distinct mind moments with more precision. Before, it all felt like one blur. Now you are seeing more detail, like a slow motion replay of what used to seem instantaneous. It's like watching a spinning fan. At first it looks like a single solid circle, but as it slows down, you start to see the individual blades. In the same way, the deeper meditation does not mean uh, more minds are arising at once. It means you are starting to notice many single mind moments are actually passing one by one. So you are starting to notice many single mind moments are actually passing one by one. And according to the Abhidhamma, millions, even billions of mind moments arise and pass away within just 1 second. So according to the Abhidhamma, millions, even billions of mind moments arise and pass away within just 1 second. Each mind moment is extremely brief, arising, experiencing its object, and then ceasing immediately. But because they arise in such rapid succession, and because our mindfulness is not yet sharp enough, we usually perceive them as a continuous stream or a single thoughts. It's similar to how a movie appears to be one flowing scene, even though it's made up of thousands of still frames, flashing rapidly one after another, or how a flame from a candle appear stable even though it's constantly flickering and changing. So when we say only one mind arises at a time, that is true. Only one mind arises at a time, that is true. But when we say millions, billions of mind arises in a second, that is also true. They arise one after another, not simultaneously. If millions or even billions of mind moments arises within a single second, then imagine how incredibly brief each individual mind moment must be. Yeah, if within a second millions and billions of mind arises, then a single, imagine that how briefly each individual mind moments must be. So it seems a single mind moments lasts for only a tiny fraction of a second. So brief that it can't be measured by ordinary means. It arises, experiences its object, and sees all within that unimaginably short span of time. So this is about the second nature, that the mind travels alone. There is still more to talk about this second nature characteristic of the mind. So time is up. We will continue next time. So this is why the mind is said to travel alone. It arises alone, experiences alone, and passes alone constantly, replacing itself moment after moment. So there is still more to explore about the nature of the mind. We will continue next time. For today, by understanding the nature of your own mind, how strange, bizarre, and amazing it is, how far it can travel, and how swiftly it can arise and pass away. So may you be able to restrain and protect your mind and keep it free from defilements.